Welcome to the Sold Too Early Sports Card Podcast. I've been sabotaging Kai lately by cutting his internet. He's responding by sabotaging the podcast. That's not Kai. I'm leaving no evidence. No, actually, though, Kai somehow, in the great state of Florida, has been out of internet on and off for like 3 days in a row. We were going to record on Monday. His internet was out. We're going to record on Tuesday. His internet was out, and I was dealing with migraine. It is Wednesday morning, everyone. How the hell are you doing? You are stuck with a mildly tired David. No, but seriously, though, I feel bad for Kai. It is what it is there. Let's talk some sports cards, and even some sports as well. So, now that we're through the busy time of the year, the summer is done, people are back to school, the weather's starting to change. Like it's starting to be sweater weather here in New Jersey. I think we are going to be trending gradually to an end of year decline in value of cards. I don't think that's shocking to say. For people who've been in this for quite a while, you're aware of this. Even myself personally, I am done traveling for the year. Now, there were shows I had considered going to coming up. The Chicago Spectacular in November, as well as November Dallas. I actually sold my own table in Dallas for the upcoming show. Now, there's a few reasons why. I mean, obviously, for anyone who is following Extraordinary Cards or listens to the podcast in general, my wife and I got a puppy a couple weeks ago, and that has been an absolutely phenomenal thing. I'm so happy I have her. It's great. It's a little too soon to leave for a couple of days. My wife is off work at that time, but I'd rather be home. I'd rather take a day off work myself and go hang out and do stuff. That sounds much more appealing as opposed to a very busy summer we just had. And I could sell cards online or do story sales or even go to eBay auction if I really want to. I am basically acknowledging that the final quarter of the year, Q4 of 2025, is going to be my slowest one. That's perfectly fine by me. I'm going to consolidate a lot, look to maximize as much cash as I can have, and kind of chill, you know what I mean? It's not such a bad thing. I'm not as motivated or hungry to be traveling to shows as much. At least not right now. Now, I think there's some value to being home, to being comfortable, to being in a good spot come 2026 for traveling shows. And also, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stuff in New Jersey that I'm doing. I think I'm committed to a show, maybe even multiple shows throughout the rest of the year in New Jersey, which is super nice. That was the second thing as well. There is a 2-day show here in central New Jersey that is going on the same weekend. Friday and Saturday. It's a 150 table show, which is fine. New Jersey, for that standard, is actually pretty solid. There is it's 20 minutes from my house, so go to that. I already know I'm doing pretty well for selling my tables. Get that locked down, worry about it later, get to hang out with my wife and my dog and sleep in my own bed. That sounds like a win. So I truly am not upset about missing that show. I do think November Dallas traditionally is one of the more poor shows for Dallas. The issue you run into there is, if you're smart, which I am not, of course, you're buying Bowman at that time. And even some football too, because you're gonna have guys who either trend down or get hurt or just are mid. You could look at some of the QBs who are playing kind of in that okay level. I would even say bad, like CJ Stroud. I don't think T.L. has done super well this year. I've not followed the Jags a ton. I know Caleb actually just played his best game of probably his career last week against Dallas, which is nice. I think Drake May has been kind of super fine. These are guys who I think Drake May is pretty solid. I think Bo Nix is pretty solid. Caleb, I'm very happy he's doing well. Okay, so actually, yeah, I looked at pull up my screen. Drake May actually did fine. Like, this is a fine stat line against the Steelers. 28-37, 268, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. That's fine. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Um, you know, there's value in that. Like, not every QB or investment you want to buy, quote unquote, can throw for 4 touchdowns and 300 yards every week. And there's going to be a lot of players who are just another guy. And there's nothing wrong with that. Could be solid. Make a throw for 25 touchdowns this year and look better than last year and be fine. Would that reflect in a higher sports card price? The answer is it depends. You know what I mean? Like, if the Patriots are kind of 6-10, 6-11 range, I should say, 7-10 range, whatever it is, like, that's a huge step forward for them. That'd be a buying opportunity. And you'll kind of know at that November show kind of where these players are. Maybe gets hurt, maybe like has a couple bad games in a row. People start panicking a little bit. Like, the ability to truly hashtag invest, ironically, is like players we talked about last week. As much as I don't like Dale Jones, you bought him in the offseason. You did very well. I do not think Daniel Jones is a good QB. I watched him play for the Giants for 7 years. It is what it is there. Please take your fucking profits. Free roll the rest. You know what I mean? Like, but that's just my opinion as a Giants fan who knows there's going to be a blow-up game there. He's going to go out and throw like 3 picks. He's going to fumble 2 times. Like, he's not that guy. He's not a franchise QB. He's played well for 3 weeks. That's great. Make your money. Find the exit strategy there. Or at the minimum, if you really want to hold those type of cards, expensive cards of Daniel Jones, which do exist, sell some and free roll the rest. Like, that's fine. Then that's what I would recommend doing. You know what I mean? At least then you probably will still make some decent money at the end when he is quite mid. Because let's not forget either, we can look at the example that people like, which was good old boy Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is fine. But once again, though, you go back to last year. Sam Darnold, through the first 4 weeks, was awesome. Then he had to step back. And then was okay. And then good. And then fine. Bad. And then solid. Really good. But at this point now, like, the peak of his selling prices was towards the start of the year when no one had any expectations. And then he fell off a bridge. Price-wise, because he went to the playoffs and didn't do anything. And the Rams beat him. And I'm sure his floor is significantly higher than it was. But Sam Darnold is also just another guy. He's a 28-year-old QB who is fine. But once again, he's fine. He's a fine QB. He had a great last year with the Vikings. He's still a top 20 QB. Like, that's acceptable. He got paid because he needed to get that. And last year was a top 10 to 12-ish type season for him. He finished 10th in MVP, so maybe you could say top 5 then. In the sports card world, where I'm going to buy the player who I think could be a top 5 QB, no one cares. Like, according to MVP voting, he was the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th best QB, 8th best QB actually with Herbert right there. Like, okay. Anyway, yeah, I don't see it with Jones, and they're actually the same age too, so like, you can't make the argument that like Jones is a young QB and all this young stuff. I mean, sure, I guess, but Darnold's also super, like, was a very young QB when he was drafted, so it is what it is there. I think he was like, he was 21, so I don't know. I'll get off that situation for now. Speaking of the Giants, man, I they're starting Jackson Dart, which is fine. I think that that is a desperation move that is going to blow up in their face. Not because Dart is bad, but because Dayball is gonna get fired and Joe Schlone's gonna get fired, and you're gonna need to find a GM and a coach who believe in Jackson Dart, which is not a hard thing to do, I would hope. But they're gonna have to be lockstep and key on like how they develop him, what they're gonna do with him, and everything else. Dart is now responsible for saving his coach and GM's job, and it's week 4, and that's not fair to him. I would have preferred them to go to Jameis and be bad fun, like lose games like the Cowboy game. It was like what, 41-38 or something like that, where they're just bad. But like you see Jameis throw for like 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, and Blake Neighbors goes off for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and that's the first quarter. Like stupid shit like that, where Jameis would have just been like, "All right, I'm gonna throw moon balls, and we're gonna see what happens there, and maybe throw it to the other team 7 times. Like it is what it is." With Dart coming in, like when the Giants are mathematically eliminated, but they are mathematically eliminated. But actually, when they are like 2-10 or something like that, where they literally cannot make the playoffs, then I would bring Dart in gradually, kind of like, the season's over, whatever. Now you're playing just to see what you have in your QB. I mean, Daboll could easily get fired with another 1 or 2 losses. Like the season is essentially moot at this point, which is fine. No Giants fan expected to have a winning record after 3 weeks. It was the Chiefs, the Cowboys, and the Commanders. Like maybe you could have argued like a win against the Commanders or the Cowboys, which obviously the Cowboy game was close. The Commanders game was not. No Giants fan would have expected them to be competitive with the Chiefs, and they obviously were not. So I don't know. It's just it's an interesting situation. He's gonna try to keep his coach and GM there. I don't think he's going to be able to, because that is a really impossible task. The Giants would have to go like, for them to both keep their job, I think the Giants have to show Dart throw like 25 touchdowns, and like they go 7-10 from this point. Like they have to be like a 500 team with Dart, and I don't think that's possible right now. But we'll see. I would like to buy Dart stuff, but it's just not going to make sense. And I don't even think he is. I don't think Jackson Dart even has auto or Panini. Let's just quickly check. I think he is Fanatics exclusive. Let's see. He's got draft picks. Okay, so he's not a doesn't have NFL license stuff. Speaking of Panini, though, which was going to be the conversation I was going to lead myself into, we know that Panini is losing the license as of technically from what is October 1st. They've released another Prism product, I believe, at the very end. We'll go into the flawless conversation in a second, but I did want to pull up their I think it was like Prism Black, or actually, can I just go to their website? Let's see. Let me quickly just do that instead. I think it was like Prism Black. Oh, they're kicking me out. Why? What did I do? Just talking some shit. There's Immaculate coming in 2 hours. So this is J class. This is not Cooper Flag. Yeah, okay, it's not, because there's Connect, there's Jalen Wells, Klingon. Okay, so this is last year. They are just dumping everything they possibly can, and I get why they are. There's Dunross and 7 hours of commercial-free. Red Zone football now. Excuse me. Hobby International. What is this? But like, they're dumping as much as they possibly can, which I respect. I do not like Panini. I have not liked Panini in a while. There's Flawless again, coming out in 2 days now. So they just did FOTL, which we'll get into with that patch in a second. There it is. Immaculate Soccer, okay. NBA. Ohio State NIL trading cards, interesting. Uh, Flawless Football coming soon because they lose the license for football, I believe, in April. I know I should like have the stuff written down somewhere. What I do have written down, which was for Kai, and I got told to tell him this. Michael Penix is 0-4 in the NFL when teams score more than 7 points against them. So fuck you, Kai. I'll say that to you next week too, when hopefully they are 0-5. If the other team scores more than 7 points, because I want to make sure you are unhappy, because that's what a good friend does. Anyway, yeah, obviously Panini is just pumping out as much stuff they possibly can. They are on the true last legs of this. They no longer care. They're going to lose that license in a week. I don't feel bad for them. I really don't. We had this conversation, and this would have been more fun with Kai. Let me finish up this conversation first about Panini and Flawless stuff before I go into like quote unquote innovation. Like, this is a LeBron James logoman patch to 7 from the FOTL Flawless. Now, I don't know for a fact, and I don't think anyone really knows for a fact just yet, if there truly are 7 NBA Flawless logomen of LeBron in the product. Or more. I've seen like obviously like the laundry tag ones. I've seen like small stuff like that. This I don't believe is from a jersey. Even someone here in the comments is saying like it's a warm-up jacket, which is still like, don't get me wrong. Like, I would love Topps now at this point, because fuck Panini, they're done. To be like, oh, you know, some cards previously used to show like the jersey it was from, or the football, or whatever material the thing was from. That to me is way cooler and way more like appreciated. I think that was like more of Upper Deck stuff actually. Who did that? That is way more of an appealing thing to see than stats I can just go to my phone and Google if I really cared about. And frankly, no one actually cares with more expensive cards, patch relics, autos, on cards, stuff like that. You can have your little blurb if you want to about like the same recycled ChatGPT information you've probably had for 15 years now for certain players, if not more. But like, I would personally rather see the jersey, the pants, the warm-up jacket, the basketball, the football, the cleats, like wherever the material is originally from. To me, that is much cooler because like it does at some point hold, I guess now Topps and Fanatics accountable. Hey, this is where this relic is actually from. Here's our version of our MLB cert for it. Here's our version of NFL certification, NFL PSA DNA, because I have a couple of jerseys like that, or basketball with Sotheby's, if that could be considered authentication, because they have I think MyGray is technically unaffiliated, but like basically affiliated with them. You know what I mean? Like, that'd be much better, but they're not going to do that. And the same thing with like, I don't believe there are 7 logomen like this, but it wouldn't shock me at this point in time. And now that Panini's kind of on the way out, and like that to me is super nice. I hate Panini. I have for a while. They ruined, in my opinion, so much of a good golden goose they could have managed had they tried. And you're seeing it at the very end with all of the products they're releasing in the literal. This is the last week of summer break, and they have to write their 20-page paper this week, and you can't use ChatGPT for it. They are just throwing anything and everything at the wall, one last push, because they know for a fact no one in fucking a year is going to be like, oh boy, Cooper Flag, Dallas basketball team, silver card, woo! Maybe you'll get people buying Flawless again, because like Flawless baseball sells, but it's nowhere near what it sells for Flawless basketball. I think they sold pre-sale FOTL at like 20 grand, and I think it's sold out. Flawless baseball and DA cardboard, because I checked this, is like 3 grand a case. Now basketball will probably still sell for more, and that's also 2 cases, by the way, not just one. But it might be $5,000 for two, $7,500 for two. That's still a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but it's nowhere near the same as $20,000. So these products are loaded, and that's great for people, but after 15 years or so of just bullshit, I don't feel bad for you. You ruined a good thing, and you could have easily tried to fight for it more, or keep it, or do anything to show that like people should have your back. Fuck Panini, they suck. I'm excited they're gone. I don't think Fanatics can be much better, but I'm willing to at least try. We might be sitting here in 5 or 10 years. I might be like, man, Fanatics sucks. They're so bad. I know that would be probably a more common opinion. I think I'm one of the people who like is at least willing to hear them out and see what they do. But then we'll see what happens there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt for a couple of years, even because Panini was so dog shit forever. And that's just kind of how I feel about it. And when I look back at like what Panini will be known for, we had a very good spirited conversation between last podcast episode and this one. Kai, our friend Mikey's Cards, Lane, people who've been on this podcast, people who are actually like my friend. And I asked them like as an actual question, like as like not like just like rage baiting, which I love to do, but like actual question, like, hey guys, now that Panini is on the way out, like, what do you think of like, what do they innovate on? Like truly innovation in a sports card world. Now, I'm going to give you my definition of innovation because mine was a lot more rough than theirs, which is fine. My definition of like innovation would be like pack pulled autographs, on card autos, game worn patch autographs, including that material from a game used thing and showing it on the back of the card. NFT, like the NFT thing, like for Panini, which they've done a lot of. Booklet cards and distribution of Dutch auctions, like very specific things that like are trading card oriented, but also like maybe slightly adjacent to like, hey, this is either better distribution or like these events. Black Boxes probably as well was probably an innovation by them. I don't imagine that Upper Deck or Playoff or Donruss did that. You know what I mean? I don't know off the top of my head at 8 a.m. in the morning, but like it is what it is. That's what I think. They had a little more of a loose definition. They said like, oh, flawless and prism and silver prism cards and stuff like that, and probably way more stuff that was really valid, which is fine. Like I will not miss Panini. It'll be a shame that flawless is no longer really a thing. They're gonna still make it, I assume, but like clearly it was loaded this year, and I guess people will go after it next year to go for the Cooper Flag gem card with like his shoulder and like him holding the basketball, but you can't see Mavericks obviously, or it's like edited out, looks like shit because like that's like what they do with baseball, of course. But no, it's not going to have anywhere near the same appeal. Or like Prism basketball, Cooper Flag, Dallas Basketball Club, Silver Prism. Woo! How many of those do you think are going to be graded? How many Prism cards were graded this past year? And they made another product for Prism, which is absolutely freaking hilarious. It's like Prism Black or Prism Black FOTL or goddamn, please give us your money, please. We want more of your money. Panini Prism Black plays homage to the iconic Prism brand. It is iconic. Don't get me wrong. It actually truly is. But it is like the 10th Prism release this year. Like, don't get me wrong. This is cool. They're just throwing everything at the wall. Get your money while you can. Respect. Like, it's going to water down these parallels and such, which is fine. I don't buy them. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Like, it really doesn't matter to me. This is a sick card, but like, you gotta wait to the very end. To the very end. The last thing you do to make this. Okay, I see how it is. Cool. Yeah. Thank you. So exciting. Like, what's interesting is like Trae Young signing these, and they clearly are like, these still are Hawk cards. You can see the licensing there. So, Where immaculate 1-1 and more. I don't know. It's interesting. There's flawless. So NT. I I don't know what's gonna happen October 1st. Well, we'll see in a week or so. I guess next episode will be Halloween, which is funny. But I don't know what's gonna happen there. They're just trying to dump as much as they can. They could have done so much more. It's very lazy. And fuck them. Yeah, that's really how I feel about him. I really do not care. Topps will do something. Topps, from what I've heard, will have a slow start to the new licensing. But at this point now, collectors are used to kind of being screwed. This has been like a very ugly divorce type thing for a couple of years now. What is this, like the third or fourth draft class for NFL that like didn't have all the licensed autographs for players. So that's, it is what it is there. Super annoying. Hopefully that changes over. Had they had Cooper Flag been in this or last year's product, I guess I could say Panini would have been really pumping out more stuff for him. Obviously, they're not going to be able to as much. Maybe they get a couple like Panini instant cards or stuff like that. I don't know what they're going to look like or how they're going to do it, which will be interesting. Ending on a Ricochet draft class and such is like, man, Jared McCain. People spent like 10 grand on his NTRPAs. Okay. Like, sure. He's fine. Played like what, 35 games last year? How many games did Jared McCain play? He was playing 23 games. 23 games. And we spent how much money on his NTRPAs? Let's see. I was looking at Solot before, but we'll open up Card Ladder again and check. I think there were like 10 grand. $24,000 for his Prism Black 101. $12,000 recently for his Kaboom Gold. His Nebula season ticket was 10 grand. Wild. Gold 9 grand. NTRPA photo 5. 86.50 for 23 games. It was good. It was 23 games. Like, what do you reasonably think is going to happen? And let's just look at who's a decent player I could think of. I don't want to go with Cade because Cade's actually going to get some decent run. I mean, Donovan Mitchell's not a great example here, but like, he's also obviously done significantly more. He's led teams to do playoff runs. And oh, look at that. His gold NCRPA to 10 at $8,400. You can get a photo of Jared McCain to 5 for the same price as a 3-color true gold RPA to 10 of Donovan Mitchell. Or a BGS 9 to 99 with a bad auto, to be fair, for $3,172. Or a authentic 10 auto. That is I guess that auto's a lot better, to be fair, but like, you know what I mean? PSA 9, 10 auto grade, 2-color, true RPA, $3,200. And yeah, you can pay, 23 games. Sure, he could be anything. Donovan Mitchell is not a hobby relevant guy, I guess, but even still, 29 years old, 24 points a game, 6-time All-Star, been an All-Star basically every year. His worst season was significantly better than Jared McCain and sells for a good amount less. This is something that will always make me laugh in sports cards because like logic goes out the window and hype outside production, all that good stuff. You can do so well in our industry by just waiting. If you are the biggest fan of Donovan Mitchell, You could buy him right now for good value. And if he does what he's supposed to do with the Cavs, because obviously the East is kind of really open this year. And they just, they had 64 wins. They got to the semifinals. Yeah, they got their ass kicked by the Pacers, but like this is still a team that theoretically Boston's not going to be up there. You're going to have the Knicks, not the Pacers because Halliburton's hurt. Like maybe the Bucks, maybe the Pistons, maybe the Magic are like true contenders now. But like, the Cavs are a team that theoretically should win 60 games again, or at least be right up there if everyone's healthy. And probably, most likely, at least have a very good shot to be the team to come out of the East if everything is projected correctly. Now, obviously, that doesn't exactly happen all the time, but you can reasonably count out the Celtics this year and the Pacers from being true contenders. And then you have the Knicks, the Bucks, maybe the Pistons, maybe, but it would not shock me if they kind of like took a step back. And then the Magic, who should be a step forward. I don't think the Hawks, the Bulls, the Heat, the Raptors, and that's this maybe the Sixers for the 10 games Joel Embiid plays are contenders, but like, you know what I mean? Like Mitchell's a quality player on a team that should go far. Should is the key word, and Jeremy Kane is he's a player on the Sixers who should be good, but could easily not be. You know what I mean? It's just you can do so well. You can do so well if you go 2 degrees off the players who are hyped up and overvalued. I truly do not pay attention to the draft classes of players for NBA, especially until like their 3rd or 4th year. Like that's when the actual value of it comes into play because they're going to drop. If you buy the shit, unless you're quick flipping it, which is fine because you can find another lemming. If you get stuck holding that Jeremy Kane NTRPA for 2 years, you're going to go down 50%. It does not matter how he plays. It will go down. Like it's inevitable because in a world where he scores 25 points a game and he's the best, he wins most improved, he'll spike, but he'll drop as it always does. He'll be just another guy because you can point out clear examples in the industry as a whole. And it's just so funny to me that it keeps happening. People just continue to fall for it time and time again. I don't know. The last thing I wanted to touch on, which I did slightly, I wanted to look at silhouette basketball. I don't know why my searches for it are. Maybe it's like in silhouette basketball. I wanted to see some of the crazy patches in here because, like, this is a awesome product, but it's obviously just a dumping of all the patches and relics that like we deserve. All right, let me change this date too. I think it came out in like August, so we'll do July. So you got your Kobe stuff. Obviously, that's not the right one. A lot of stuff from actual silhouette or preferred or stuff like that. Wow. When did this product come out? There it is. Karl-Anthony Towns is the highest selling silhouette patch auto at 1841. It's a pretty card. Beat to hell. Could have brought the logo man down just a smidge, Panini. You could just did a little bit of work there. But nah. Fuck them. Am I right? LeBron James, that's a pretty card, $1,500. It's a little bit more than the flawless patches are doing, which is interesting. Photo logo man of Jeremy Sohan. I do know that the Curry logo man, well, Laundry Tech, I should say, did 15 yesterday. But it looks like a lot of the top sales, Klay Thompson. These are finals game worn, by the way, which is sick. I should have a couple of those. Not a Laundry Tag, of course, but like patches from the Warriors Cavs series at auction. LeBron James, there you go. But like once again, they had these for years. They had these for 8 fucking years, and they never used them. They didn't care about you. They're just dumping them now because people will buy them. It's fine, but like you had these for literally so many years. LeBron and Kawhi, so that means that probably what this is 2014 or so. Game 1 of the NBA Finals on 6/6/2013. 11 fucking years. They held on to these patches and relics and they never used them. They didn't care about you guys. Like, come on. Like, they did not ever show any appreciation or any effort at all. Authentic mem, not guaranteed by any sport or player. None of that stuff. Oh, we're losing the license? Fine, we'll dump everything. We don't even need these anymore. Like, that's so funny to me. Laundry tag, champ tag to 2. So they had multiple of these for multiple finals games of Klay Thompson. What game is this from? 2017, game 2, because I should just look at the title. They had 2 of those. You tell me you could have put that in flawless at any point in time over 7 years? Really? Really? Okay. Luka, finals game 1 for the Mavs. So this is obviously last year. You couldn't throw that into a product? You know what I mean? Like, game worn used warm-up. Okay, so it's a game used warm-up material from game 1 of the finals. Couldn't throw that in flawless? Or any other product? You were so far behind due to COVID or supply chain issues, you just said, fuck it, let's throw it at the end? What are you going to do with the rest of that jersey? There's no way you cut that jersey up all the way over the past year. So what are you going to do about that one? You know what I mean? Or that jacket or whatever you're going to use. Zach LaVine. This is just a Logoman patch. I don't know what that's. It looks like a sweater. That's probably from another warm-up as well. But I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. The Christmas Day. Christmas Day, Jason Richardson. How old is this patch? How old is this one? He's on the Spurs here? Oh, he's on the Suns. 2009. 2009. Couldn't use it in anything? Really? Like, I can keep going on. It's pathetic. They never cared about you guys. Come on. 15 years. This thing was just chilling in a box somewhere, probably. Just waiting. Just fucking dump it now. We don't need it. Pathetic. Truly pathetic. Disgusting card. Should have been in a different product. Like, it's just so funny. Jeremy Lin, I guarantee those are super old because it's from the Rockets. So it's probably like 2014, 2015. Just you get what you deserve with that. There's Vince Carter to 3 on the Magic, so that's 2012. What year is this from? Doesn't say. What year is Vince Carter on the Magic? I think I'm close to right. Now I'm going to check because I want to. (2010, 2009). Okay, so I was a little off on that. But like, you know what I mean? It's just so funny to watch them dump all this stuff the very last minute. And it's what we deserve. This is what you deserve. Logoman patch autos to 10. All these amazing patches and relics. 75th patch of Rudy Gobert. Just dump all this trash. It's what we deserve. We deserve this from Panini. That's what you get. All right. I have nothing else to say. I'm happy they're gone. Maybe I'll throw a little Halloween party for them next week. Hopefully with Kai. Kai also might be gone too. He might be in Halloween hell Oh wait, Halloween's not. Yeah, can you? Oh my god, I'm so tired. Next week. Wow, I spent the entire episode thinking Halloween was next week. Jesus Christ, dude, it's 8 a.m. here. I am exhausted. I don't even know what time it is anymore. Next week we'll do something else instead. Bye.